Thank you for watching us on YouTube. But did you know that if you're on the go, you can get the full show as a podcast now? You can get our morning breakdown of the most important topics facing our country, news not being covered by the mainstream media, interviews with change-making progressives, and info on what you can actually do about all this. Search for The Damage Report on your favorite podcast app and subscribe so you know when new episodes are ready to go. Brett Kavanaugh is now being investigated. If you're listening, you didn't see the air quotes there, but he's being investigated by the FBI. And there have been some concerns coming up about how broad that investigation will actually end up being. What can they investigate? What can't they investigate when looking into the allegations of sexual assault against him? So here are some issues. They apparently cannot talk with anyone concerning the Julie Swetnick claims of sexual assault. Whether you think that those are legitimate or not, you think they're too crazy to believe or not, we will never find out because they're not allowed to look into it. They also have a list of people from the White House that they're allowed to talk to, and they're not allowed to look into in any way Kavanaugh's drinking habits at Yale. So all these people have been coming forward saying that he was a drunk, so he lied about it. They can't look into that. They also can't talk to the supermarket that apparently employed Mark Judge to find out if that corroborates her account at the time. So these are some interesting limitations. Donald Trump got kind of furious over the weekend. The Democrats are pitching it as a limited investigation, which seems odd considering the Republicans announced it as something that was limited in scope and time. But now that the actual limitations are getting out, he's frustrated by that. In terms of these limitations, do you think that we are still likely to learn much, or do you think that these are designed to hamstring this thing?
You know, I am not sure what we are likely to learn. I think more importantly is that it seems, regardless of what we learn, far too many people have decided they don't care. And far too many senators have decided they don't care, that it won't matter. And we're not talking about criminal charges. Yes, there are statutes of limitations for a reason when it comes to a lot of, criminal actions, but this is a job interview. And so taking us back to something Jeff Flake said, he said that, after the hearings, he wasn't sure. He was even more confused as to whether it happened or not. And a lot of people are upset with that because here's the thing. If you're not sure whether someone is a violent, sexual assaulter, is that a thing? Is that a word? But if you're not sure whether someone's rapey, then they don't get the job. You don't hire them. Let's say we're at Sears and we are the manager, we're the shift leader, and we're bringing somebody in and we're not sure if they have inappropriately touched someone. Most likely that person wouldn't get the job because it's a job interview and you would be looking for someone that you were sure about in that space because you want to protect everyone who does already work for you. And that would be unfortunate because you weren't sure, but it's not a courtroom. We're not talking about the death penalty. We're not talking about prison time. We're talking about a job. And it has all of these different words: confirmation, hearing, testimony. It's a job interview.
And there are other people that could get it. Sears could hire someone else.
Sears could hire, and they would, I think.
Yes.
And also then you take Lindsey Graham, who essentially says he didn't care. He doesn't care.
Yeah, he's been pretty clear, and he also effectively said,
yes,
and he said that it doesn't really matter what the FBI finds. He's not going to be swayed because he's already decided that. Look, he probably suspects that he did it. That's what a lot of people, I think, believe. He was sitting in that room with Christine Blasey Ford, so however intense and emotional her testimony was, it had to have been stronger for the people there. But he doesn't care.
And also something really important, you cannot believe both of them. And I think that they are dressing this up in, they don't want to call her a liar. But that's what you're saying. You cannot believe both of them. You cannot believe that she's telling the truth and that he's telling the truth. You cannot believe both of them.
Unless you believe a crazy doppelganger theory.
No one is confused about someone that they knew, a friend. This is not a stranger attack. No one would be confused about who held them down and put their hand over their mouth, that you were either telling the truth about that memory or you're lying. And he's either telling the truth or he's lying. You can't believe both of them. And I think if there was this bar where you had to just explicitly say, I think she's lying, we would be having a different conversation.
Yeah, and look, you could talk to, there were witnesses there. There were people who he kept trying to say during his testimony that they said that this party didn't happen and he didn't do it. They have since come out. Her female friend at the party says That's not what I said. I said that I don't recall the party, but I believe what she is saying.
Right.
He left that part out, oddly enough.
There's a long list of things and how that hearing, his side of the hearing went down that were just mind-blowing, I think, for a lot of people watching that. And everybody was watching that. But how he was yelling over the senators asking him questions, how he just blatantly refused to answer questions, how he said something that at the very least you could call misleading. And that over and over and over, that claim that her account was refuted.
Yeah.
And the fact that he was so disrespectful to a lot of people, putting questions back on them, and it totally irrelevant and
about her, like
weird.
Klobuchar passing out from being too drunk or something
Right.
like that. But in terms of what we can expect from this investigation, I know that Trump wants to have his cake investigation, eat it too. He wants to limit it, and he wants you to make you think that it's unlimited.
Right.
But there's a great evaluation of it by former FBI investigator Frank Figluzzi, who said, the assumption that the FBI is going to have free reign within what they've been tasked to do. Look at Ramirez. You make an assumption you're going to interview all of the witnesses to the Ramirez incident. You're going to run down every name she provides you. You're going to go to Yale and find people who were living in the dorm at the time. That's not happening. The FBI is not only dictating who you can interview, but also what investigative steps you can take within that allegation. So don't just narrow your hopes and expectations for what's going to come out of this. They're going to talk to a few people, and look, apparently they might talk to Mark Judge. Maybe they do that, and he just totally cracks under it. And he says, you know what, it did happen. But that's probably not going to happen. And so they'll find out some information. Maybe they'll look into that July 1st party. I wouldn't get my hopes up about that because it does really seem like this is being hemmed in on all sides by design.
He's also allowed to lawyer up and not answer any questions. So
he said that he would investigate, or that he would cooperate as long as it was confidential. I don't know what that means. Like, we know you, so it can't be anonymous.
Right.
And if you say something crazy, we need to know about it. So I don't understand exactly how confidentiality would work there. Thank you very much for watching this clip from the Damage Report. If you liked it, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and ring the bell on YouTube to get notifications of our new videos. And of course, you can catch the full Damage Report live every weekday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific on TYT Network on YouTube TV.